What's up, y'all? We are here, and I'm in good vibes now because I actually watched the episode, and I can honestly say this was the best episode of the season, and it was easily Zeus's best produced episode that they've ever put out. Like, Adam, I've watched a lot of Zeus shows, and I feel like this was the best edited, produced episode that they have put together because nothing dragged out. Each scene lasted for the amount of time that I feel a scene should last, especially when it comes to content. And the episode was good. There was actually like stuff to talk about, and it like flowed. There was like in a way, a storyline to it was like a storyline actually, because I'm sitting here thinking about it with the Carry On and Darrell stuff. They gave build up, and the build up was actually there, and we got to see. I just love the way they ended the episode too. They didn't. Yes, they ended on a cliffhanger, but this one was actually a cliffhanger that would make sense. But enough of that. Thumbs up the video, drop the comments down below. Y'all know what to do. If you are new here, drop the comment, subscribe if you like what you see. And let's go. Let's talk about it. I actually got some stuff to talk about. So we get back from the scene well, it's not even back there, but we get a whole new day. Lou is in the car on the way to the house saying that he's got some unpleasant news that he has to tell the boys. So he gets on the phone with Jonathan, and he's pretty much saying that he has been told that he got bronchitis and that he should not be around smoke and whatever. And he's saying that he vapes and stuff, and he wants people who do to stop. And I will say so, yeah, I think people that vape should stop, because I've seen a lot of stuff in the past 2 years maybe of a lot of people that do vape. They're going through a lot of health issues, and that's just in general when it comes to smoking and stuff. I feel like everybody knows that, and you should know that. At least I was taught that in school. Like, smoking anything in general is not good for your lungs. It's just not. And we all know that you need your lungs, and you need what is coming through your lungs, aka oxygen, to be able to breathe and live. So that was very I'm glad that they're actually showing this too, because it's educational. Because Black culture, we smoke too much, whether it's weed or vapes or hookah. That's just something that's in our culture, and a lot of us get stuck in that, and it is a leading cause of death. It's not the leading cause of death, but it is a cause of death that is high in population of deaths. But so we get to the next scene. Raz and Banga, they are in the kitchen. Raz B is giving Banga his props, saying that he's doing his thing on the tour or whatever. JB, Carry On, and Prince, they come in there, and they all talking about how they're going to go play flag football later on. So they start talking about that. Carry On also says that they want to go to the studio to go put a song down so that they can actually have something to promote, because they ain't been getting no money, and they ain't really had much going on besides fighting. So they're trying to get productive now, finally, episode 8. So they're trying to get productive. I can't hate on it. They finally doing it. So they start brainstorming, and Banga saying that he don't sing, he don't rap, he don't do none of that. So he wants everybody else to do a verse for him, and he'll get on the track. They sitting there telling him no. Like, Prince was saying that who said that? I think Prince said that. Somebody said that it should just be artists, like people that actually do music. And I'm like, essentially, none of y'all here are real artists besides Raz B. He's the only one that's got credentials. Yes, Mo City's trying to do his music, and Carry On comes from a family of music, a very, very prominent and a very notable Kirk Franklin. Like, so he would know. So I can say he would be one of the ones that I would say, okay, well, he would fall into that category. But the rest, it's just like, y'all ain't no different than Banga going in there putting down a track. Like, you literally out here producing your own music, and your music produced, you trying to get out there and do something. So if Banga want to go in here and just have fun on a track, that's not going to do anything. It's not going to make no noise. Like, y'all acting like this is something that you're going to shoot for Grammys and shit for. It's not going to happen. Like, why can't Banga get in and just have fun? But everybody else is saying, like, it only needs to be artists or whatever. So we're going to skip past that scene. The next scene, we got Adonis and Orlando. They sitting upstairs talking. And when they talking, Darrell and Chef Teeth come walking in, and they start talking about how they men and they real bad boys and whatever. And I'm like, okay, it's funny to me watching them call themselves bad boys. These is grown ass men on the show taking pride in calling themselves bad boys. It's funny to me. It's like, maybe it could be what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe it could be a double standard. Because I don't see when the girls, essentially too, though. I was going to say, I don't see when the girls are calling themselves bad girls, but it's still weird. But I can see girls doing that more, calling themselves a baddie, than a boy calling themselves, a grown man calling themselves a bad boy. Whatever, that's just me. But they were talking about that. Chef T talking about Adonis ain't no bad boy because he just got there. And they start talking about Lou, wondering where he's at. And I thought in this moment, this is a very produced, I'm pretty sure that was coached to start talking about him, because as they start talking about him, he comes upstairs and walks in. He's got his mask on, and Lou sits down and tells him that he's got bronchitis, had chest pains, and has early signs of asthma. From somebody who has asthma, well, I say had asthma. I had it bad when I was a kid, like really bad when I was a kid. It hasn't been as bad growing up, but on my later ends, like here recently, like the last 2-3 years, I have little moments where I need it. I still have my inhaler and stuff. So I understand. I understand what he's going through. So if it is true, that's the thing. No, through this whole thing, I'm still skeptical. I'm like, is it really what he's saying it is, or he's just trying to leave because he don't want to fight Adonis? That still was in my mind. But hopefully I'm gonna take his word for it. So he starts telling them that, saying that if he didn't go to the hospital, he could have died because of the chest pains and him having asthma. Don't know if he was being dramatic, but I'm gonna let him have it. I'm gonna take his word for it. But he's saying it's best for him to go home. And of course, they don't want him to go home. Lou was telling them that he's gonna leave because they was asking him, when are you leaving? He's like, I'm gonna leave now. Like, it's about to happen right now. So I want to go tell everybody else. So the rest of them end up clearing out. When they clear out, Adonis tells Darrell that he wants him to stay back because he want to talk to him. So Adonis is saying they ain't seen each other in a while or whatever, and apparently they had something going on. Darrell clearly is like, I don't even want to sit here and talk to you. Like, you can tell he is not trying to open up that conversation. Apparently Darrell had blocked him online. Adonis said that he was happy that they're there or whatever, and he hopes that they can leave on good terms or whatever. And Darrell's like, we didn't leave on good terms the last time we talked. And Adonis is like, no, nigga, you just blocked me. Like, what do you mean? That's the essential word for not a good term. But he's saying that he's happy that they're there or whatever. And Darrell's saying that he's in a relationship and he ain't trying to, there ain't nothing that's going to happen out of that. And I find it funny how he's like trying to shut Adonis down, but she was kind of like jab stepping Prince and stuff, low key kind of flirting with Prince. So I was like, what you really talking about? But Adonis said that you ain't got no ring on your finger either. So all's fair in love and war, which I see what he's saying, because essentially, how do y'all feel about that saying? Because I've heard that a lot, and I sit here and think about it every now and then. I'm like, you should respect people in a relationship, but if they don't have, nope, I'm not even gonna open that. I was gonna say you should. That does not give you any right to still be able to try and infiltrate a relationship. But all I'm gonna say is if you can get somebody out of a relationship, they was never supposed to be with that person to begin with. That's just what I'm gonna say there. But let me know what y'all think about that. Let me know y'all's thoughts. Let's have a real conversation about that. Drop that down below. The next scene, we get Jonathan. He's calling all the boys together because he's downstairs with Lou. And he's telling him like he want to talk to all the boys and whatever. So they bring everybody together. Lou tells him that they're leaving. Teeth is sitting there wearing these clothes. I couldn't help but just mention this because he's wearing tight stuff that I would wear to gym, like compression type clothing that I would wear to the gym, and people that are super fit would wear to the gym. Like, that's just stuff that because when you do, because the thing is, the type of stuff that I do in the gym is very CrossFit, powerlifting. That's the type of stuff that I do, where I squat a lot, I bench a lot, I lift a lot. You don't need to be wearing baggy clothes, and it's not comfortable to wear baggy clothes when you're doing that type of movement in the gym. So that's why we wear those type of clothing, especially when you're doing the certain things that we do. So I'm like, this man it's clear he don't be in the gym. Like, let's talk about it. It's clear he don't be in the gym. But I'm like, why is he wearing these clothes that is just not, it's not for your body? Like, he's wearing clothes that is literally falling off his body because they don't fit. But I couldn't help but talk about that. But Lou was telling them he ain't been feeling good or whatever, as he's been saying that he's been telling them. We didn't see it until last episode. But he tells them about the bronchitis and the asthma and shit, and they tell him that he pretty much tells them that he gone, like he leaving. So they say their goodbyes and whatever. And then we get to the flag football scene. This was cool. I like this because it was a good little scene. Like in terms of content or whatever, it's like this is the type of stuff that I feel like they should be doing if they're going to keep doing these reality shows with Zeus. I'm glad that they kind of found something that they all can actually do that is outside of fighting, that is outside the norm of just trying to force drama, make drama out of nothing. They were just having fun. Like that shit was entertaining to me. So we get the teams. I guess Prince was the captain, and I want to say JB was the captain. We didn't see him picking teams, but Prince, Teeth, Adonis, Darrell, and Banga, they on one team. Mo City, Jonathan, Orlando, Razby, and Carrion on the other team. Essentially, looking at this, I was thinking the second team with Mo City and Jonathan, I thought they was going to win. Because essentially, looking at it, you would think that they would. But I'm going to go into play-by-play. Jonathan scores the first touchdown. Jonathan was impressing me. Jonathan's very athletic, and I was I don't want to say I'm shocked by it, but I was shocked by it. Because he was straight juking them, just running straight up through the hole and stuff. But then I'm not shocked, though, because Jonathan is big, and we all know Jonathan know how to fight. And if you know how to fight and fight as much as he does, I feel like when it comes to playing football, which is a contact sport, he would not be scared to run through them. And that's what he was doing. He was running through them. But Brasby starts getting competitive, talking shit and whatever. Darrell starts getting annoyed. And Darrell was saying that he played basketball and stuff in the past. And I'm like, you should know when it comes to pickup games like this, like stuff that's in the street, that's just the culture of the game. Like, you're going to talk shit. It's not like you shouldn't take it personally, but playing with certain people that don't necessarily do this on a normal basis, of course, they're going to be annoyed. But Razby was talking shit, just playing the game. Banger ends up scoring the next touchdown. I was impressed by his touchdown. Prince then scores the next one. Everybody's starting to get tired at this point. And when I say everybody, I'm talking about like Chef D. Jonathan was on the ground at one point, but Jonathan gets back up. Adonis was on the ground looking tired. Mo City started feeling himself, and he starts launching Adonis. He was the first one that I saw like actually really like nudge somebody hard as fuck. I ain't gonna say that was a tackle because it wasn't. He just pushed him, and he pushed Adonis hard as fuck. Banger saw that shit and was like, nah, I'm not dealing with this. Like, I'm not doing this because in Banger's mind, he's seeing it as Mo City trying to start some shit. And he's like, I don't want to do it because if he does it to me, then we're going to have a problem. And I'm not trying to have a problem when we just playing a game. And I can see where Banger's coming from because I can see him thinking that Mo City was doing that. But like I said, when it comes to playing sports, if you played sports and you played, like, that's the thing, though. I feel like a lot of this generation does not know about that because, like, we did this stuff as kids, like, in the neighborhood and stuff. Like, we would go outside and do street racing. Like, we play basketball. We play football. Stuff like this is stuff that I feel like the generations now growing up have not done like that. They don't be outside like that. They be on the tablets and stuff. So I feel like Mo City, I feel like he could be doing what Banger is thinking. But in my mind, I'm thinking the way that I would think playing the game. Mo City is just playing the game, like just having fun. And that's his way of having fun by playing the game. He's a competitive person. And granted, I'm sitting here defending Mo City because he's been getting on my nerves here recently. But Adonis then next scores the touchdown. He scores the next touchdown. So essentially at this point, it's 21-7. And that is 21 on Prince's team. And 7 is Mo City's team. Mo City ends up scoring the next touchdown, but somebody ends up snatching his flags off. They ended up taking the flags off because they like, at this point, you ain't go by that. So what's the point? Like, what's the point in having these flags to begin with? And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, like, what is the point? Just play without the flags. And like placement, I was like, just go ahead and tackle each other at this point. Like, it just is what it is. It's more fun when you actually play football like you're supposed to play football. So Jonathan gets through and gets another touchdown. So at this point, they done tied it up 21-21. Razby ends up trying to get up on Prince real good because Prince is essentially the quarterback in this situation. He's trying to find somebody open. Razby gets up there and trips Prince up. Mo City getting high, talking about, you just got tripped up by B2K talking shit, just sitting there talking shit. Prince started talking shit back. Mo City then saying that Prince is the biggest pussy and the biggest pussy sitting here talking shit, just talking shit. But they start to get a little serious at some point. And Prince and Mo, they just slick shotting each other. And it's funny too, because Prince trying to act all hard. It's just the way that he's talking. Like the way he talks naturally, the stuff that he was trying, his dialect, the way he was speaking was cracking me up because you can tell he's trying to get hard. And he was trying to show that he ain't no pussy. And in a way, I don't feel like he was scared of Mo City, but in a way, I kind of do feel like he might have been a little like, oh shit, here we go. This one's coming for me. Like, let me just puff my chest out and do what I got to do. And that's what I was thinking in my mind. You let me know what y'all was thinking about that. But Prince ended up locking Mo City up. And I was like, okay, like, get it. Like, because Mo City was popping it. You could tell Mo City was trying to play Prince, like, was really trying to get him riled up. And Mo City still sitting there calling him a pussy and whatever. And then Mo City talking about how he had slapped him when he locked him up. And Prince was like, you barely got through Adonis. And I was like, oh, because he ain't lied, because you barely got through him. Because, like, I didn't even say he barely got through him. Like I said last week, I feel like it was a tie, essentially. But Mo City thought he was going to run through Adonis, and he didn't. But I just remembered movie, but you gonna know because I already sent you this on Instagram. That I think it was on the Zeus T page, where no, it was on TikTok. It was a girl on TikTok. I can't think of her name, but if I can find it, I'm gonna put it in here.
The irony of sneaking somebody, right? And then when y'all get like a fair round, you get your ass whooped. I know you gotta feel dumb as shit. You thought you was about to bitch that nigga. You thought you was gonna beat his ass, and then you ended up looking swollen afterwards. You kept trying to pull that hoodie down, baby. We see the knots. You light skinned. We see it. It's red. Adonis said, y'all are not finna play with me today. I am not playing. I'm talking about knotted, garlic knot. Knots they teach you how to tie when you in the Girl Scouts. Like, your shit was knotted up. If we being honest, I feel like if he thought he could have beat Adonis, he would have probably kept trying to fight him. But I think that second round, he was like, oh shit, I don't want no more smoke.
She she was doing like the recaps on TikTok, and she had like a screenshot of Mo City's face, and his face is red, and you know he light skinned, so you can see all of it. And he had knots on his head, and she was like, you got all these garlic knots and stuff. So it was funny. But yeah, so he basically said that. And when he said that, that kind of got Mo City all tight. So he started rolling up on Prince, trying to get down. They didn't do anything, but it was about to get to that point. But Prince was sitting there, like I said, trying to act hard, but he was standing his ground. I'm going to give him that, because I still think Prince is the scariest one on the show, if you ask me, besides Lou. But he stood his ground, and I respect it. But Prince ended up turning, Mo City ended up turning the ball over. Prince picks it off. Darrell ends up catching the interception, pick six, gets down there and gets a touchdown. Darrell was out there. Like, Darrell got 2 touchdowns. He's about to get another one. But Razby and Teeth start getting into it for whatever reason. I don't know. Like, who knows? And Teeth is sitting on the sideline with Jonathan sitting there talking about my twin this, my twin that, my twin this, my twin that. You a grown-ass man sitting on TV talking about your twin. He's the most annoying one on the show to me. Like, annoying. But Darrell scored another touchdown, and Prince's team ended up winning. So the next thing, they get back in the house, they all have fun, but Teeth and Darrell talking about how Razby is annoying. So then after that, we get this scene that kind of leads to the rest of the episode. Darrell and Carry-On end up getting into it. Darrell's at the door going back and forth with Carry-On, because apparently Carry-On was screaming for no reason. Let Darrell tell it. But we never saw it because, of course, they didn't film it. Or if they did film it, they didn't add it in the episode. Darrell was saying, like, you over here screaming and hollering or whatever. If you ain't going to do shit, leave it on the playground. I agree. Like, if you going to pop it, like, come on. Because ain't nobody got time to be sitting here going back and forth with you. But Carry-On was saying that he was being creative and to not mention his family. Focus on the art or whatever. So they ended up all getting on the bus, getting ready to go to the studio. So Teeth is sitting there talking to Darrell, basically saying, like, Darrell, stop fucking with Carry-On. I done told you stop fucking with him. Leave him alone because you keep fucking with him. Darrell was sitting there wondering why Carry-On is sitting next to him, because Carry-On is sitting next to him. It's like he's sitting directly next to him, but there's nobody in between them. He's like, why are you sitting next to me? You already know that I'm irritated and I'm at this point where I'm ready to swing on you. So they ended up started talking about Lou and whatever. Jonathan is in his PSA mode, talking about smoking, saying to stop smoking weed, stop smoking vape, stop smoking hookah pens. Everything he's saying is true, but it's so funny to me because as he's doing this, they passing the blunt and he ends up taking the blunt and smoking it. So I'm like, but what he was saying is true though. Regardless of what it is, a lot of people think smoking hookah pens, smoking vape, smoking weed, it's cool, whatever. I've never been that type of person that has been able to fall. I've never been the type of person to fall into peer pressure. A lot of people have tried to, I ain't gonna say they try to force me to do it, but I'm around a lot of people that do smoke weed and smoke whatever. I've never felt pressured to do it, even though people have tried to. But just like everybody else, we've all had moments where we try certain things and it's not for me. It's not something that I do, not on a consistent basis. And yeah, what Jonathan was saying is true though. Like that stuff is what can take your ass up out of here. So regardless of what it is, if it's plant-based, whatever, who cares? It still can fuck up your lungs. Like you putting shit in your lungs that shouldn't necessarily be there. So good moment, good informative moment. And I'm glad they put that in there. Like I said, I'm glad they put that in there. But Carry On starts talking about how they like, he's like talking to Jonathan, but he's talking out loud to where you can tell he wants somebody to hear it. Talking about how they like when he mad and whatever, and he's sitting there laughing, thinking about how he ain't the one to play with. And Darrell's hearing it and everything, and he's saying like, y'all ain't read the blogs and whatever. This is Carry On saying y'all ain't read the blogs because niggas pop up dead fucking with him. And he's like, bitch. And I was like, so you just confirmed that you killed. See, that's the thing. YouTube don't like you saying certain words. That's why I just paused myself. You off somebody. You remember that? I think didn't he like hit somebody with his car or some shit? So in a way, he kind of confirmed that he did do what he was in the news doing, allegedly. You ain't about to sue me. But I was like, okay, this is interesting. So Darrell saying, I know you ain't talking to me. Like he heard about that. Like you done heard niggas popped up dead, aka like who you talking about? You trying to kill me? There I go again. Damn. You know, you like sitting there like you trying to threaten me. Like that's kind of how Darrell was feeling it. And I can't be mad at him because essentially, if you saying that shit around me, I'm gonna feel the same way that Darrell did. And at this point, I'm gonna be ready to fight you. So they start going back and forth, and Carry On's talking to Jonathan, and Darrell is sitting there piping in, like I said, and Prince ends up jumping in between because they starting to get turned up at this point. So he ends up jumping and sitting in between the two of them, and Darrell saying like, "You watch your tongue when you talking to me." And Carry On makes some type of noise, like some like stupid noise, and that set Darrell off. He wide open swings, and then like I don't know if he hit him, I couldn't tell, but the minute he did, everybody pounced on him. So Banger sitting there imitating him in the confessionals, sitting there when he did that, talking about something. You know how Darrell gets like, I wish the hell you would hold. I can't even do it the way he did, but the way he did it was so funny. You already know what I'm talking about. That shit had me weak. And it's funny because I think Jonathan did it later on. No, it was Orlando. Orlando imitated Darrell too towards the end. And it's that accent that he got. It's funny. But Carry On was saying that Darrell was talking about his mama and his daddy. And that's where he's saying that that's why he's so mad and he's irritated. So Darrell's trying to get him again because every time he says something, he kind of like antagonized Darrell, and Darrell was getting hot. And you can tell he's at the point where he's ready to fight at this point. So any little thing that you say, he's gonna try and get you. So everybody started pouncing on him again because he tried to get him and tried to buck at him. And then Darrell said on his dead mama, he gonna end up hitting him. Carry On still sitting there antagonizing him. Darrell throws something at him. Carry On sitting there saying, stop worrying about me. Like, who hurt you? Like, what's the issue? Why are you so mad? Like, why are you so pressed? And apparently Carry On had called Darrell outside of his name. They then start asking Mo City who started it, since Mo City was the one that was there. And Mo City said that Darrell was actually giving Carry On a compliment, but Carry On didn't want to hear it. Like, he was not there to hear it. And Darrell was saying that he was actually talking shit about somebody on the cast, aka Raz B, and he said that he was talking about him and said that he was getting on his nerves. So Carry On swearing up and down that Darrell had called him mental or whatever, and Carry On said, don't play with him. Darrell said he ain't got to, like, and basically Carry On was saying, like, you didn't pray with me or whatever, for whatever reason. I forget what they was talking about. Darrell was like, he ain't got to. He was like, have that conversation with God. Like, that's the conversation that you and God need to have with yourself. Granted, I can see both ends. Like, I can see if Carry On wanted him to pray with him, and I can see with Darrell wanting to give him his time with God. Like, you have that moment with you and God. I don't have to do that with you. But Darrell said he's still gonna hit him. So they ended up bringing out drinks and whatever, making them take a shot, kind of like trying to ease the mood or whatever. So they started doing that. Everybody's saying that Carry On had turned up on him. And it's like the general consensus is everybody saying that Carry On was the one that kind of escalated the situation. So if they're saying that, then I'm gonna take their word for it because we didn't see it. Like, we can't really have our opinion, like a genuine opinion that we formed from seeing it. So I'm gonna take their word for it. But where was I? Darrell had said that Raz B was on his last nerve or whatever. Carry On is, and said that Carry On is Carry On camera, basically saying that, and he said too that like he's who he is on camera. And essentially I'm thinking that Carry On probably thought Darrell was taking shots saying that you switch up on camera or whatever. That's what I'm assuming might have gotten in his head. But after that, Prince ends up steering the conversation back to the music or whatever. So they're trying to figure out who's gonna do what, whatever. Mo City and Prince end up checking it out about the game or whatever. Prince is saying that Mo City kind of got him tight, but it was in the heat of the moment. It was during the game. It was cool. They was leaving it there. So everybody was surprised about Darrell's performance. I was as well. Carry On is sitting there because they all sitting here talking about this, like trying to like ease the mood, trying to do all this. But Carry On is on the phone with Natalie at this point. And he's sitting there venting to her and venting to her loud. You can tell he's trying to make sure that everybody hears him, saying that he lets them be flamboyant and shake their ass. Darrell heard that. And of course, he's going to be offended by that because that's essentially taking shots at him because he's flamboyant and he shakes his ass. So when it's time for him, he's saying too, when it's time for him, aka Carry On, to vibe out, they won't let it happen. Like they sit here trying to press him or whatever. Darrell is hearing it, and as he's hearing it, you see him sitting there seething, like he is getting irritated and more ready to get up and swing. And you hear Teeth on the side talking about, do it then, do it, like egging him on. And one thing led to another. That nigga got up and he got him. Like he got up on him. Like he waited for the moment because he kind of slid up on some Krishan shit, slid up towards the end. Wasn't nobody really looking at him. I could tell Mo City was looking at him a little bit, but he was just like, I ain't gonna let it happen. I'm just gonna let it happen. Like, do what you gotta do. He slid up and flew across to the back. And that's where it ended. Next week, we got the ending of the Carry On and Darrell shit. And it seemed like everybody and their mama against Raz B. But this is a good episode. This was actually the best episode that they've had all season. This is the first episode that I've watched since probably the beginning that I actually was in tune. I was watching it in full. Like normally I'll watch it and I'll be watching it, but sometimes I'll pull out my phone and get distracted, but I hear it in the background and I'm paying attention. But this was a good episode and it was edited well. Like I said, it was a very well edited episode. Like nothing was dragged out and it actually had a storyline. Like the buildup led to the end and then they left on the cliffhanger and the cliffhanger was a cliffhanger that would make sense. But yeah, I liked it. Tell me what y'all thought about the episode. Drop the comments down below. Subscribe. Thumbs up the video. Drop your comments. Please subscribe. Like we got to 1K. Let's try and get to 2K now. Like we at I think I'm close to 1.3, so 1,300. Let's ride to 2,000. Let's try and get to 2,000 at the end. But yeah, I'll see y'all next week. Hopefully next week is just as good as this week. But let me know what y'all think. I'll see y'all later. Peace.